Well, we'll try again. I'm sure that we can all think of times when we have repaid evil for evil, or have been repaid evil for evil. If you've been listening to news about the sentencing of the mosque gunman, you will have heard this whole spectrum of victim impact statements, from forgiveness to satisfaction to the desire for the shooter to suffer as his victims had. His actions were evil, but in general the message of the victim impact statements was that his actions had failed. They had not destroyed a community, but strengthened it. They had not created division, but built up unity. They had not magnified evil, but brought forth goodness. Most of us will not have experienced such a huge violation of our existence. We may admire or wonder at those who are able to dig deep and find a space for forgiveness. We may recognise and sympathise with those for whom forgiveness feels impossible. But many of us will have experienced cruelty, abuse, or bullying of various kinds. We may also have been cruel, abusive, or bullying in small or large ways in our lives. Driving on the road, talking to cold callers on the phone, dealing with complaints. I've had a few negotiations with various companies over the past few days. I try to start these interactions with a prayerful, deep breath, as they seldom bring out the best in me. I read that apparently a major retail corporation put mirrors behind their customer service representatives so that irate customers could see their own behaviour. Their anger levels subsided and they negotiated their complaints more graciously when they could see what they looked like in the mirror. Maybe I'll try imagining such a mirror next time I'm expressing disappointment over the phone. A few years ago, a friend shared a sign she'd seen. Love your enemies. It messes with their minds. It made me laugh out loud. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised when I read this passage from Romans to find in verse 20, if your enemies are hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink. So far, so good. But then, for by doing so, you will heap burning coals on their heads. I don't think it's Paul's aim to heap burning coals upon their heads to shame them, but it is a natural consequence of our loving actions towards our enemies. So with Paul's company in the midst of our own struggles to live life in Christ, let us not set about trying to overcome evil with evil, but try to overcome evil with good. As Paul says in verse 18, insofar as it is possible, let us live peaceably with all. If we can do this in the small interactions of our own daily lives, then the effect will be to release goodness into our community, our city, and our world. In response to these thoughts, let us listen to the servant song.